Hello and welcome to Hypnotic Kicks channel. The 2022 FIFA World Cup is on now and going strong, and we saw a lot of great games. And while some of the favorite teams managed to confirm the expectations and qualify for the knockout stages, there were some surprises along the way. I think that the main surprises for every football fan were the early eliminations of Denmark, Belgium and Germany. In this video I'm gonna talk about Denmark and Belgium performances. First, I will talk about Denmark's participation in the World Cup. By the way, if you like football, soccer, please subscribe to our channel and like our video. We are just starting this channel and we want to bring a lot of great contents for you to enjoy. I want to bring a separate video with some analysis of the Germans' performance and try to predict what the future is in store for them, but for that I'm gonna need your help. Your support will be much appreciated. I think Denmark was not prepared for the difficulties offered by rivals from outside Europe in this World Cup. Only Qatar was worse than Denmark in this World Cup. The phrase comes from former Danish national team player Jan H. Fjordeft, but it reflects what almost the entire football world feels in the face of the frustrating and early elimination of the Nordic national team in the group stage. Worse than the result, however, was the performance. The team did not show the qualities that made it the bet of many to be the surprise of the competition. But what happened? There is no objective answer to this question. Football is not objective or predictable. It's impossible to credit the bad game to injury players. The only serious medical problem in the squad was with Delaney, still in the Premier. He left the pitch in the first half and never came back. Although it is important, its absence does not, by itself, justify the squad's bad overall performance. The team had the reinforcement of its playmaker, Eriksen, who was out of almost all of the good campaign of the Euro Cup last year after collapsing in the debut game. The Manchester United midfielder did not have great performances in the cup, but it is not possible to say that the team played poorly because of him. We can only look at the field and look for tactical explanations. They may be harder to spot, but looking closely at Denmark's previous games and the challenges they've had in this Group D, it's possible to draw comparisons. First of all, it is necessary to understand that the problems were in the lack of creativity in the attack. The defense didn't suffer that much. They had a clean sheet against Tunisia and suffered 2 goals by Mbappé against France, nothing that should be super unpredictable. They suffered 1 goal on their loss against Australia by the end of the game, when the team went full attack mode to try to move to the next stage, so we can say that their defense system was somewhat consistent. Since the Euro, this team has had 3 main paths to goal. The corner kicks, in which came the only goal scored in this cup, against France, the balls recovered in the attacking field against defenses in numerical inferiority, and the releases from the back of the defense lines that played in advance. It happens that Denmark faced opponents in Qatar who proposed defensive barriers that were completely different from those they encountered in continental competitions. Starting with the level of intensity, very high. Teams like Tunisia and Australia know that they are technically inferior, but understand that they are capable of overcoming some Europeans based on physical imposition and in tactics. It is rare to see in European competitions teams that lower the lines of marking. The ones that do that are teams of low technical level, like Faroe Islands and Moldova, both thrashed by Denmark in the qualifiers. In general, European teams try to play as equals and, naturally, give up more spaces in their defenses. Of the 3 paths to the goal that Denmark has, 2 exploit the fact that opponents give space. They pressure on the ball exit and launch behind advanced defenders. This space was not given to Denmark by opponents considered weaker in Qatar. Much less the ball output with passes from the defenders. Only the corner kick remained, which did not fit in these games. Let's also remind that some of the great Danish games in the European qualifiers and in the Euro was playing in home at Copenhagen. Now let's analyze the Belgium performance. Belgium entered the World Cup as one of the favorites after enjoying success at the World Cup in Russia. However, the team said goodbye to the competition when he drew without goals with Croatia at the Ahmed bin Ali Stadium in the city of Al Rayyan for the last round of Group F. The early elimination of the Belgians made headlines in the main newspapers around the world after the generation led by Lukaku, Hazard and Courtois, who delighted everyone in the last cup, failed to repeat the same success in Qatar. In Group F, Croatia advanced to the round of 16 in second place, behind Morocco, who beat Canada and qualified at the top of the group. But what went wrong to the golden generation, as some fans like to call this Belgium team? The team have in paper a lot of big names to make fans bet on the team's victory through the tournament and reach a high spot just like they did in 2018. Most of their big names were still playing in 2022, but not at the same level. If Kevin De Bruyne and goalkeeper Courtois are still in a great shape, you can't say the same of Eden Hazard and Carrasco. Mertens and Lukaku are also not in their best shape, but I still consider them great players. But the truth is that they are a team that's 4 years older than in 2018. And this counts a lot in modern football because they are not so fast anymore and not so good physically anymore. I consider that they were in a difficult group also. Despite being the favorites to pass alongside Croatia, Morocco and Canada were teams that should not be underestimated. In fact, Belgium played very poorly in this World Cup. In the first game against Canada, Courtois defended a penalty kick. And after almost 5 minutes there was another penalty for Canada, but it wasn't marked because it was offside according to the referees. But in that game Batshuayi scored a goal and Belgium managed to win. Against Morocco, Belgium lost 2-0 and played very poorly again despite having much more ball possession. Unfortunately, Belgium couldn't be effective with the ball and Morocco were much more objective and consistente with the ball and managed to score the goals. Morocco created better opportunities than Belgium and deserved to win. Against Croatia, after a weak first half, Belgium created a lot of good opportunities but couldn't get the ball inside the net. Probably the team felt the pressure of being out so early in the cup, they ended playing disorganized on the field. Also, there were many rumors of internal fights between the Belgian players behind the scenes. This may contributed to the bad performance. Another factor that I apply is the same that I said about Denmark. Not playing so much against teams outside Europe had a bad result for them, and I will talk more about it. With the creation of the UEFA Nations League, which occupied all available dates for friendlies, they established a barrier between the national teams of the old continent and those of the rest of the globe. The teams there began to play exclusively against their neighbors, creating a league of teams that was supposed to be the elite of world football. Even as the owner of the latest world titles and organizer of the main club competitions, Europe has perhaps created a trap for itself. The games in Qatar showed that teams considered inferior can, indeed, compete against the powerful teams of UEFA. I don't need to mention the victory of the hidden Iranian team against a British from Wales because the country neighboring England is not among the most popular. But what about the clashes between the selection of the Netherlands and the young Ecuadorian team? And the toughness that the traditional English team faced in front of its former colony that calls the sport soccer? These were two draws that tasted like victory for the Europeans, technically surpassed by their opponents. If we look back a little, we will remember the brave Japanese comeback over four-time champions Germany. Built with quality football, European countries will continue to stand out in the cup. And with a great chance of winning the title. Especially because the continent has the largest number of candidates for the competition. There is no doubt that there are very good and strong teams there. But the policy of segregation during the cycle between World Cups, closing the doors to the peripheral countries, can be costly in the medium and long term. In fact, many European teams often try to play the same football with almost the same formations. So probably they weren't prepared to face more defensive teams or teams that don't try to compete for ball possession. Instead, they try to reach the goal and counter-attacks as fast as they can and can return to defensive formations also very fast. So, what are your thoughts on this? Why do you think Denmark and Belgium disappointed in this World Cup? As I said, I want to make a video talking specially about Germany, but I need you to like and subscribe please. If you do this we can keep bringing more football content for you. We are just starting this channel and your help will be greatly appreciated. Until the next video, see ya.